let's speak about NIO, baby. So yesterday I made a video about NIO, but it was more so price predictions. It was more so speaking about JP Morgan and all these analysts potentially running the price up in order to bring it back down. Now in that video I feel like I did an incredibly good job of pointing out that I am a long-term bull on this company. I do have a long position, and there was some people upset in the comment section because, you know, they said that I'm going to lead the people selling off. They don't believe I even have a position, and people have said I'm just hopping on NIO because it's the trendy thing to do on YouTube now. But here is when I made my first workhorse video on YouTube, and here is when I made my first NIO video on YouTube. I'm not hopping on a trend, my friends. I speak about EV, it's what I do. Right now NIO is interesting to a lot of people because of the recent price action. A lot of people want to know more about NIO because of this. Look at this, that's not normal. So of course, yes, I'm going to make some more NIO videos to answer some of the questions that I'm getting regularly. But I mean, look how many workhorse videos I uploaded in the last week as well. I haven't left them. But anyway, I know most of you appreciate the content, so I'm coming out with what I believe will be another quite helpful video in deciding you whether you want to be a long-term investor in NIO or not. So everybody on YouTube always speaks about the fact that, you know, NIO have the support of the government, so I want to speak about what that really means, because there is more to it than just the government throwing all of the dollar bills at NIO. I want to speak about NIO battery as a service, and also the fact that they just unveiled this new 100 kilowatt hour battery. I want to speak a little bit about the differences between their first and second quarterly earnings and just how much better things have gotten for this company and where I may see third quarter earnings being. Keep in mind they're coming out in less than 2 weeks, my friends, so going to be very important for us to see. I want to speak a little bit about NIO House and NIO Services, and I also want to speak about one thing that I don't think enough people understand is the fact that there's not much vertical integration going on inside of NIO, and they pretty much outsource their cars to Jack Motors. But not too important at the end of the day, but still something that I want you guys to be aware of. So yeah, quite a lot to get through today, but I do think it will give you guys a good understanding of why I am actually very bullish on the company, particularly when you see how far they have come since literally their first quarter report of this year. So right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, my friends? If you're new around here, please consider that lovely red subscribe button if you want more content like this, and drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of NIO. Also, if you're interested, hit the first link in the description, my friends. Sign up to become a patron. You'll get full access to my private Discord group. You'll get my buy and sell alerts, 40 private chats where we speak about stocks all day long. It's awesome. So with that being said, the first thing I want to speak about today is this. NIO's future depends more on the Chinese government than ever. Now this is an article that came out June the 5th. So a little bit of backdrop. Perhaps some of you guys are brand new to NIO, okay? So they started up weather the pandemic, but the cost of its bailout is becoming clear. So you may not be aware, but if you even go to the yearly chart, NIO was very close to going bankrupt, I'll put it that way. Like this close. Without the help of the Chinese government, NIO probably would not exist right now, in all honesty. So everybody's always speaking about, you know, they have the support of the Chinese government, etc, which they most certainly do. But what does that really mean? So essentially the Chinese government came in and said, you know what, NIO, here, we're going to give you a $1 billion bailout. But the price the company had to pay to survive is becoming increasingly apparent. So essentially the billion was put into a subsidiary in China created by NIO, simply called NIO China. Imagine this is just NIO and the people who were giving them the money coming together. In return, NIO had to commit its core businesses and assets in China, including vehicle research and development, supply chain sales and service, and NIO Power, into this new subsidiary, and NIO also had to invest around $600 million of its own money into NIO China. Now on top of that, the Hefei investor group now owns 24% of NIO China. The other 76% belongs to NIO. So I mean, yes, the government supported them, but they're also taking a bit of the business. Now the thing is, NIO will eventually get back 100% ownership in NIO China, but that's something to understand right now. Now I don't think we need to get too much more into that because I don't think it's the most important in the world, but then the Chinese government in general is very supportive towards EV companies in general. So in 2009 the government introduced subsidies for EV buyers in China to encourage adoption of NEVs, spending more than $60 billion. The average subsidy was around $8,500 per vehicle, very similarly to the $7,500 one we see in the US. The government also extended support to companies that produce batteries, BYD being one of them. Authorities also began giving away license plates for these kind of cars, waiving fees, etc. And the government supported and created fertile ground for new EV startups, including NIO, which was founded in 2014. And then there was some drama because they cut some of these subsidies, but then they brought them back because of the Roni. It's been a little bit all over the place, so yes, right. What I will say is that the Chinese government is doing a good job of supporting these EV companies, but it's not as simple as they're just throwing them money. I want that to be made very clear. Now, next thing I want to speak about, which is one of the things that made me change my mind on this company, okay? I initially did my research and I wasn't very excited by them. I had no plans of buying. But then I found out about this kind of thing, and it really got me quite excited. So NIO BaaS, Battery as a Service, and I want you guys to keep in mind that as of this moment in time, we are speaking about a company that is in China. Obviously, we have plans to expand to Europe, etc., but right now it's in China. So essentially, it's battery as a service. You can subscribe instead of buying your own battery, and then said battery is chargeable, swappable, and very importantly, upgradable. So a lot of you guys have probably seen their battery swapping station. You drive in and it swaps your battery in like 3 minutes, I believe it is. It's awesome. You can also just charge it if you wish, and a very important thing is that it's upgradable. Why is that important? Because of things like this. NIO unveils a 100 kilowatt per hour battery upgrade plans. So what's good about this is that if you're already using battery as a service, you just get to upgrade your vehicle. You don't have to buy a completely brand new one, you just upgrade your battery plan. I mean, let's say you bought a new car last year and the same car comes out with a slightly better battery next year or some slightly better specs. You have to pretty much buy a new car. But I also do just think that this battery here is awesome, full stop. NIO said its 100 kilowatt per hour battery features cell to pack tech, realizing 37% higher energy density, and the new battery increases the NEDC range of NIO vehicles to 615 kilometers, baby. That's awesome. Really awesome. That's the kind of range that people would be extremely happy with in Europe and the US. And then reports suggest the company could also be working on a 150 kilowatt per hour battery, which essentially means the vehicles could go further than 900 kilometers on a charge, which would be absolutely nuts. But this is one awesome thing about NIO, is that every year or so, you could be upgrading your vehicle, you know? It's like getting a new car, it's like getting a new improved car, but for an absolute fraction of the cost. But this right here genuinely is what I think is part of the reason these guys are so exciting. It is the battery swapping. You drive your vehicle into here, it gives you a fully charged battery, and you drive out. It's awesome because, again, I reiterate the fact these people are in China. A lot of these people won't have their own houses or their own garages. They won't have their own charging stations. If they do, I've seen reports of there not being enough at apartment blocks, etc. So something like this is awesome. And you know, if you're just chilling at home, you don't even have to go there, okay? 15 times a month, you can literally click for power. They'll pick up your car, charge it for you, and bring it back. That's awesome. So the technology here is incredible, and I think it's absolutely what China needs. I know people have spoke about Tesla doing it in the past and it not being successful in the US. That's fine. I don't really like comparing these guys to Tesla all that much right now. But I do think that is potentially one of the most important points for me, is their battery as a service and their battery swapping technology. Now I want to speak about the numbers because Q3 is coming up so soon. I want to speak about what happened between Q1 and Q2. So Q1, okay, we'll get the deliveries and stuff, but vehicle margin was negative 7.4% in Q1, okay? And that had gotten worse from 2019. Q2 was positive 9.7%. And that, my friends, was a turning point for this company. Having that positive vehicle margin, nearly approaching double digits, immense, absolutely beautiful. This was the kind of thing that filled me and a lot of other investors with confidence in this company. We got that positive vehicle margin, and more than that, okay, look at this. Our deliveries were 10,300, nearly tripled year over year. And if we look at the Q1 numbers compared to the Q2, it was amazing. And we all know that Q3 is going to be even better from a delivery standpoint. Now, of course, the margin could have changed, etc., but from a raw delivery standpoint, things have gotten much better. This is awesome, my friends. So loss from operations was $221.8 million in Q1. It was $164.2 million in Q2. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows here yet, guys. Let's keep that in mind. I believe they burned through over $6 billion from 2014. So the numbers are getting a lot better, but they still have a considerable period of time to go before things are really good. But that can be said for pretty much any EV company right now, let's be honest. I mean, Tesla spent such a long time making a loss before they finally started making consistent profits. But the reason I'm showing you this, guys, is because we expect Q3 to even be so much better than Q2, which was so much better than Q1. It could, to an extent, help keep the stock's price up. That's what a lot of investors are hoping for, and it certainly is what I, to an extent, am hoping for. Next thing I kind of want to speak about is this, okay? NIO House. And alongside this, we'll speak about NIO Spaces. But essentially, NIO wants to be a brand, you know, they want to be much more than just their vehicle. And from what I've heard, it's working very well. From the people I've spoken with, some of which live in China, they have told me that, you know, NIO is a very recognizable brand, a very respected brand. So essentially, NIO House is just this awesome looking place where, you know, you can chill out. There's a library forums, lab, there's a cafe. It's just a place for NIO car holders to go. And then there is also NIO Spaces. Funnily enough, you won't find much out about the NIO Spaces on their website, but they're actually making them more money than the NIO Houses are. It's a similar concept, but the Spaces actually have their cars in there and they act almost as a form of dealership, but it's been shown that they lead to more sales. So NIO Space covers smaller areas and involve fewer construction costs than a NIO House, okay? So it doesn't have the coffee shop, etc. According to a NIO Space commonly occupies fewer than 200 square meters with an average building cost of under RMB 1 million. It mainly serves as a showroom for sale that facilitates users who are interested in NIO's products while living in cities without NIO houses. So these NIO Spaces are bringing in more money. They are prioritizing building more of these as opposed to NIO houses. It's good in my opinion. Now I do think the NIO houses may be important going forwards to maintain their brand, to maintain that lifestyle brand that they seem to want to create. I mean, even if you go onto their website, they have a whole tab called NIO Life, and look, I mean, they're collaborating with people in regards to everything. We have bags, we have cups, bottles, clothes, we have wallpaper. I mean, they have everything. They have food. They want to be a brand. Let's just put it that way. Not much more needs to be said. Now, one thing I do want to speak about is this right here, okay? So, electric car setup. NIO, this is a very old article, okay? JAC Motors to continue collaboration on new model E6. Obviously, now the E6 isn't all that new. Basically, NIO outsources the making of their vehicles. So, NIO will continue to work with JAC Motors in the production of its second NEV model ES6. That's part of the reason I believe that Tesla has been so successful, and a lot of other people will think the same. I also believe that XPeng is doing very good on the side of vertical integration, so some people might not like seeing NIO outsourcing all of this. It is what it is. Keep in mind, guys, less than a year ago, NIO was on the verge of bankruptcy. They couldn't necessarily afford to vertically integrate. Maybe down the line, they actually will. Maybe down the line, they'll stop working with JAC and they'll build it all in-house by themselves. Now, I don't really see that happening at this stage. In the short term, at least, we'll have to wait and see. And one more thing worth noting in regards to the autonomous technology that NIO is bringing to their vehicles. Again, they have partnered with a company called Mobileye to bring level 4 autonomous vehicles to consumers. So again, they're not building this themselves. It's not like Tesla where they have all of their vehicles gathering all of this information for them and it's their own technology that they could decide to do anything with, to sell, to patent, etc. NIO is just buying it from Mobileye. So again, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing by any means. I believe this is what the large majority of EV manufacturers will do in the future. I spoke with Steve Schrader about this in regards to Workhorse, and he said that they'll probably just buy off the shelf. And I would imagine that the large majority of companies will. There's no need for everybody to develop their own, but it is something that I want you guys to be aware of. And I also want you guys to be aware of this. NIO reportedly get over 10 billion yen credit line from 6 Chinese banks. Now, this is a relatively old article from earlier in the year, but worth understanding again. A lot of people will be afraid of NIO going bankrupt, or NIO ultimately going all the way back down to zero. That is most certainly something I don't see happening. Again, I am very bullish long term on this company. And this credit line just reinforces that fact just a little bit more again. So guys, I really do hope that that video makes it clear that I am bullish on NIO in the long term. I love with a passion what they are doing. I love their battery as a service in particular. I love that they have completely turned their margins and their business around over the last 6 months or so. I love what they have done. But I really do like making you guys fully aware of how I am thinking of a company at any given time. And if you haven't seen my last video yet in regards to this price action, if you don't understand why I have certain things highlighted here, please go check that video out. Because I do love NIO, and I do believe that even if you are to buy now, you're going to make a lot of money in the coming years. I just think that you could make a lot more money potentially if we're patient. And guys, I have a cost basis of 13 something in this company. I got a lot of comments on my last one telling me I missed the boat. I mean, no, I didn't. I'm up over 200% baby. So again, I haven't sold out anything. I haven't bought anything yet. These are points of interest to me, but do check out that last video if you want to see them, my friends. But I did feel the need to make this one to show you guys how I actually feel about NIO as a company, because in the last video I wasn't speaking about NIO as a company. I was just speaking about them as a stock, as price action. As a company, I really do love them, my friends. But anyway guys, I really do hope that you enjoyed today's video. I really do hope I gave you some value and entertainment and insight into this company. If I did in return, could I please ask you to hit that like button, drop me a comment and subscribe if you're new around here, because all of that means the world to me. It helps me out absolutely massively, my friends. And of course, if you are interested, do hit that first link and sign up to become a patron, guys. It's an awesome service. I mean, it's sick, guys, trust me. I mean, honestly guys, look at the chats we got. We got Nick's Index. One of our members has created his own index. He's killing it this week. We have stocks from me, bio stocks, UK stocks, food and drink. We even have Bitcoin, politics. We got juicy memes, SPAC stocks, new ticker symbols to watch, value stocks, dividend stocks, all of these individual stock chats. NIO's there, of course, workhorse, lordstown motors. We got all of the chats you could ever need, baby. I mean, what are you playing yourself? Hit that first juicy link in the description, baby. But anyway, my friends, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for another video very soon. Peace.